Hello, I'm hiding away in my boys' bedroom this morning because I've still got the two kids and they don't want to hear their mum making a video. Can you imagine your mum looking at a phone and making a video of herself? How weird that would be. Well, anyway, I'm doing it in Jackson's room. I thought I would just... I'm tired. I'm really tired. I did get a fairly good sleep last night as far as like my normal level of sleep is concerned, but I'm not getting those great amazing sleeps that I used to get, that I got in that first couple of weeks of being on medication. I really am just hanging out for my next appointment so that we can up the dosage. But I wanted to talk about some things that I'd forgotten that I didn't know were ADHD, because it's sort of been 6 months that I've been learning all the everythings that you can possibly learn. 6, 7, 8 months, since my ADHD obsession started. And I've learned everything I possibly can and looked at every ounce of my functionalness and every body part and face thing and brain thing and assessed them all for whether they could be related to ADHD. So I've realised that I'm starting to forget what I didn't used to realise was ADHD. And I also wanted to say that all the things I'm mentioning, they're how it plays out for me, but I have very strongly hyperactive traits as well as very strongly inattentive traits. So I'm combined type. And a lot of the things that I experience in the hyperactive side of things, inattentive people who have inattentive ADHD do not experience. So I just want to say that this is how it plays out for me, but it's not how it looks in everybody. It's not how it looks in inattentive trait people. It's probably not how it looks in a lot of men who have it. And it's probably pretty similar to how it looks in children, including the symptom in the DSM-5 of runs about and climbs things at inappropriate times. I think I can include that one in my list of ADHD traits. They took that out for the adult assessment as far as do you experience these symptoms? They took that one out. I was like, why did you take that one out? I would have got 100% for that one. Anyway, I first wanted to mention that I had no idea that not everybody in this world has 1,000 thoughts going on in their head all the time at any one time. That people without ADHD sometimes only have one thought at a time. And I didn't really become aware of this until my friend said that she'd experienced this for the first time after taking medication. And the way she described the experience of having only one thought, not thousands muddling about, I'm just having a vague memory that I might have already talked about this. Anyway, she talked about that and it was very moving, and I really hope to experience that at some point. I'm not talking about one thought like, I'm tired. That kind of dead one thought feeling where you're feeling like your body's shut down and your mind is just shut down. I'm not talking about having one thought in that state. I'm talking about having one thought in an active state. So at any one moment, I can cover about 20,000 different points in about 10 seconds. And I'm relating whatever I'm thinking about to every topic I've ever thought about in the last 6 months at the same time. And, working out which train is the best one to follow. But generally I have multiple trains of thoughts going on at the same time, which explains half of my funny speech things. And I think I'm going to do a whole video on how ADHD affects my speech. But often you see it in my speech because I don't finish sentences. I skip between thoughts and I say half a sentence and realize that I've already assessed what I'm about to say from the perspective of multiple different people and realize that actually, no, I don't agree with myself by the time I get to the end of the sentence. So this whole multiple thought thing is going on all the time, and that is definitely an ADHD trait and definitely something that they hope will reduce with medication. So I could tell many stories about how I experienced that, but I'm pretty sure that anyone who has this whole flurry of thoughts all the time, every time they look at it as a new stimulus, you probably all know what I'm talking about. Apparently that's ADHD. The other thing that I didn't realize, and I've only just remembered I didn't realize was ADHD, was working memory and being able to hold unimportant things in your memory, sometimes important, depends on what perspective you look at it from, for longer than a few seconds. So the whole phenomenon of walking into a room and having no freaking idea why you just walked into that room, that's like about every second room I walk into. That happens like probably countless times a day. I can't explain how many times, couldn't count how many times a day it happens. Over the years, and anxiety is something else that adults often experience as part of ADHD, because I guess over a long period of time when you have to operate in this world with a brain like this, there's a lot of anxiety inducing things. Plus, especially being hyperactive type, my brainstem is much more active than your average person. So anyway, that whole forgetting what you were doing or saying halfway through the thought, yep, that's just what happened just then. Well, forgetting about forgetting. So yes, I forget about what I have to do. Oh yes, anxiety inducing. It depends on how heightenedly anxious I already am, but even just the thought of having to walk from one room to another to achieve a purpose, like I have a pair of Jackson's socks and I need to put them in his drawer. There is anxiety that I carry with me the whole way to his room about being able to hold on to the thought of what I need to be doing when I get there. Because if I don't actively hold on, which means for me, repeating it to myself in my head, put socks away, put socks away, put socks away the whole time internally while I'm walking between rooms. If I don't repeat it to myself, by the time I get there, I've lost it. And then that is, for me, then it's a bit of it's beating myself up, which it's a natural thing, an inclination that I have to try and steer away from. I've been working really hard over the years on not beating myself up for something that's outside of my control. And it has become very clear to me that it is outside of my control, whether I forget or not, whether this piece of socks, because I can try my absolute sweating blood to try and remember why I'm walking from one room to the other. And if it isn't socks, if it's something that I don't have a stimulus for, I get there and it doesn't matter how hard I tried, I could have forgotten because along the way I saw something else. So I have a lot of anxiety, just a low hum grade anxiety, about being able to remember what it is I was supposed to be doing. So if somebody asks me to stop doing what I'm doing and go and just grab something for them or whatever, like if the kids say, "Mummy, I just need blah, 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 blah," that is anxiety inducing for me, because I know that in doing that, I may lose what it was that I was doing. That may never happen. It may never, ever be achieved. I may be unpacking my bag and my kids say, I've been away for the weekend, I've been to the shops, I knew I needed a tomato, I bought a tomato, I put it in my laptop bag because I had not enough hands to come back from the car and carry everything, so I just shoved everything in pockets, and I get inside and I'm unpacking the bag, and if my child says to me, "Mummy, I need some help getting this shoe off," or something like that, and I go over there and do it, I know that there is a very, very strong risk that I'm going to completely forget what I was doing. I won't ever finish unpacking those bags completely, because I'll see them on the desk mostly unpacked and think, "Oh, I think I've unpacked them." I'll put them away and the tomato will still be in my laptop bag, and I won't realize, I'll know it'll be hanging over my head for 2 weeks that there was a tomato somewhere and now it's nowhere, and it's still got to be somewhere, but I don't know where the somewhere is and what state I'm going to find it in. And that's hanging over my head for 2 weeks. And then finally 2 weeks later, I go to my laptop bag and there's the tomato that I never unpacked because I got interrupted and I completely forgot. It didn't exist in my head anymore and I forgot about it. So I have a constant anxiety of rotten vegetables and fruit being found in and other such things that happen because I forget what I was doing in such a short space of time. So walking into a room to put something in the bin and then walking straight past the bin and walking into the next room, getting into the next room and going, I feel like I don't belong here. That's like that happens every 5 minutes in my life, less than every 5 minutes. I didn't realize that was ADHD. So look, that's a couple of realizings. I've definitely talked way too long, but it's like sort of an update and the things that I didn't realize were ADHD video. Anyway, I hope some of those things are helpful. I definitely know that some people can identify with those things, and I love when I spend time with those people and talk to those people because they understand, you know. Spend more time with the people who understand, okay? It's good for our souls. Bye.